The birds were tweeting a melody, celebrating the warm glow of the Neramu sun, overlooking the ruins of an old temple. There was a lot of interest surrounding the broken stone erupting from the ground that was carefully being excavated and explored by a group of archaeologists. A number of holes in the surrounding grounds were delicately prepared to discover a hidden history buried beneath the soil. Light tappings of rock and stone accompanied the bird's melody from various shallow holes, and from one, 2 people were carefully dusting away dirt from a ceramic vase. It was already broken, as the earth had collapsed upon it for who knows how many years. But bit by bit, the 2 caressed the land ever gentle to explore this lost relic. One of the people was Narata, a Neramunian, decorated by sky-blue patterns swirling among their pale skin, with amber eyes under their ashen hair that swam into waves crashing into a plait from behind. Their clothing was akin to the others around the village, assisting the archaeologists, a beige wrapping with a blue hem and mustard colours of the sun. The other was a Nubian male, with light features contrasted against his dark green eyes and brown hair that draped like a curtain resting on his brow. He was properly fitted down to his leather boots. His double-breasted tunic was a dimmed royal blue with golden trimmings. The shoulder buttons were undone, revealing a cottoned collar shirt underneath. He was a loose imitation of others at the dig site who were deciphering symbols from the remnants of pillars and mosaics. This young man, Arthur Prowse, wore the uniform of the Republic Archaeological Service, a government-sanctioned archaeological institution to explore new discoveries across the galaxy. Steady. Steady now, Arthur spoke with a warm whisper to not startle himself or Narata as he placed his hands under the vase, while his partner delicately and with such precision displaced it from its resting place. "I've got it. Keep your hands still," Narata replied as they hovered each piece of vase into a cushioned box. There was a slight roll and twang to the Neramunian's voice, far removed from the proper and sharp words Arthur spoke from spending many years of his education at the galactic capital of Coruscant. "Dil ilma azoro," Narata blessed the pieces. "What is it you're saying?" Arthur spoke with intrigue and eagerness. "May you rest again." Arthur smiled and returned. "Then we better take care." "Ha! There's something inside the vase," Narata spoke with glee. Slow and steady, they nurtured the pottery. Even the most tiniest fragments were collected with such patience. Inside their box was now a puzzle of fragmented vase laid flat. All that was left to unearth from the ground was the object within. A wrapping, though degraded by age, protected its contents. Both Arthur and Narata delicately removed it from the hole and placed it upon the box. Narata unwrapped the material, and hiding within was a beauty not even specks of dirt could tarnish. 2 circular stones with swirling veins of minerals capturing the morning sun, still shining a warm amber glow. No words were spoken, for they were both dazzled in awe. Narata broke the silence. "I never thought we would unearth a pair of Cailiads." "A Cailiad?" asked Arthur, looking back at Narata. The Neramunian picked one up from the cloth and placed it into Arthur's hands. The stone was warm. It radiated heat. "Most have been sold off, or pillaged by raiders. They used to be commonplace on Neramu thousands of years ago. You would be extremely lucky to find just one of a pairing. It is told that our people, who fought against the Rakatan Empire, gave them as gifts to friends, families, and loved ones. When 2 paired stones are close, they shine a golden shimmer, a promise to be united. Narata looked back to Arthur, catching him in complete attentiveness to every word they spoke as they coddled the stone. They smiled and continued. Now we know it true. That is a beautiful story, Arthur acknowledged. And what of the wrappings? What does it say? Narata placed the wrappings flat on top of the box lid, smoothing it to read. They scanned the writings with their finger, first reading it silently, then again to Arthur. Volcala Sonara, Ento Erenkin. Stars dazzle in night sky, shines path to one brighter than above. Warm glow, soft to touch, a reminder to keep hope from cold of night. Whispers from wind, rumbling of rock, converse of valley to guide me back. Trickle from rivers, enchant me to follow. There I find such brilliance, the Neramu sun rising over mountains. Its imitations disappear in blue, yet none have outshone you. Lifting their eyes from the writing, Narata looked back at Arthur, who was holding on to every word they spoke. He laughed, gesturing his hand in the air. This is what it's all about. Not the clinical governments, the ruling lords or kings idolized by propaganda, but the people. The stories of the ones who lived and took each day for what it was. Not for the grand historical text, but for the moment as we do today. Arthur composed himself. Thank you. Thank you for reading that. Narata smirked. It is an honor to speak it. Ah, and what is it you have found, my dear boy? Spoke a slow, deep voice from above. Both Arthur and Narata were startled, turning quick to see above the hole they had dug, greeted by an overcast of an older gentleman with his hands on his hip, keeping his dark purple robe in place. Minister, we have found within this vase a private letter and, well, a treasured gift. Car-Iliads, Narata called them, reported Arthur. The man above waved the back of his hand. Right. Okay. Put it with the rest on the shuttle. We're leaving. Leaving? Both Arthur and Narata responded. Yes. An emergency transmission came through. We need to return to Coruscant. The galaxy is at war. You can't just take what is ours, Narata claimed. Yes, I can. Minister, these artifacts, they belong to the people of Neramu. Surely, if we dedicate the resources, they would arguably achieve an improved understanding, considering they have a better context from being localized. And yet, they still need to be catalogued. Something we cannot do here at this time. Now pack it up, and I will see you on the shuttle. The minister swished his cloak as he spun, disappearing from sight of the hole. Arthur, Narata begged. He took a deep breath and looked back at his companion. I'm sorry. I have to follow protocol. Sorry. He avoided looking at Narata, knowing that they were full of disappointment as he placed the artifacts in the box, clicking it shut. Arthur finally looked back at Narata and placed his hands towards them, opening his palm, housing a lit Car-Iliad. What? Take it. Arthur hushed, not to be overheard. Take it. Take it as a promise that I will return, and with your people's artifacts. Narata gently picked up the Car-Iliad and held it close to their chest. Nira mosto carvera. Dul ilma auzoro, Arthur blessed, picking up the box and climbing out of their hole. The sound of shuttlecraft preparing for takeoff was extraordinary, and the dust swirled as their engines purred, ready to leap once passengers were on board. Narata watched Arthur vanish into the mouth of one of the shuttles, joining his team of archaeologists. The dust had become a storm as the shuttle elevated. All the work of the historical dig site was being undone. The light of Narata's car Iliad was fading as the shuttle disappeared into the blue sky. But one day, Arthur Prowse would return, and the light of the car Iliad would brighten again.